We're 1 week out from the governor's special session that he called for next week. Still have yet to hear whether or not he's going to appear. We've invited him to the 10 a.m. Appropriations and Budget Committee. We believe Oklahomans deserve to know answers on a plan of if he's serious about cutting $4 billion from state revenue, if the Strobel case goes opposite of the way both he and I desire. Like I said, I've yet to hear him articulate a plan or defend a plan or even say exactly what he's aiming for. But I look forward to it. I hope that he does show up. We will treat him with the respect that his office deserves, but we will also ask tough questions about how does he get there. When he talks about his tweets, I've seen those about insatiable desire to spend money on behalf of the legislature. I think that's a misnomer. We've been very restrained in our spending and spent under the amount we've been authorized to every year that I've been pro tem. And every year he's been governor, he's proposed 5 of the largest, 6 largest state budgets. So 5 of the largest have been proposed by this governor. But maybe he has a plan to shrink spending and or to come up with other revenue, and I think we deserve to hear that. Well, I want to be abundantly clear. The Oklahoma State Senate has not requested that we come into special session to deal with taxes one way or another. We've been studying earnestly our tax policy. It is a very complicated ordeal to go through tax reform and tax cuts. Look, since I've been pro tem over the last 5 years, we've cut just under $1 billion in revenue through various measures. Personal income tax reduction of 1/4 point, corporate income tax cut of 2%, the banking in lieu of tax by 2%, eliminated the franchise tax, and made various other tax reforms. So we're not opposed to tax cuts or tax reform. What we would be opposed to is doing it without a plan, without a long-term strategy on sustainability to make sure we pay for critical services like public safety, health, education. So the question presupposes that we support a special session on tax reform. We didn't request it, the governor put it out there, and we're answering the call. We'll be there, but we're not going to do anything reckless. That you want tax fairness, that's really good bumper sticker philosophy and bumper sticker policy. But trying to implement something that fits really well on a bumper sticker and the real world implications of just overnight eviscerating $4 billion of revenue without a thought on how to replace it and or cut services. If there's that, I don't believe there's $4 billion of bloat in state government. Are we running 100% efficiency? No. But I look forward to seeing the governor present a budget that reflects a $4 billion cut, because his previous 5 budgets have been the largest in state history. The most recent one that he submitted before this session was the largest executive budget ever presented to the state legislature. And so if he's serious about his plan on what he calls tax fairness, and I think all of us we have a visceral reaction to people being treated differently, right? But at a max $200 million impact, if all Native Americans in those 5 tribes stop paying income tax, which that's not the real exposure, and we're going to cut off $4 billion for that, that just doesn't make sense in my mind. Yeah, I mean, the ramifications could be far-reaching. We just passed something that I very much believe in school choice. That is all predicated the way that the speaker drafted it up, and we ended up passing it on our side, based on a tax credit, which is an income tax credit. We always leave the first portion of that word off, but that's going to be 150 to 200 million, and then 250 in 3 years, 250 million. That's all predicated on people paying some sort of income tax, and you have a credit toward that. I don't know if anyone's thought through in the governor's office, is he going to completely cut off all progress we've made on school choice? The legislature, in a budget that wasn't signed by him the last couple of times, we've made record investments in public education that would simply not be sustainable if we cut $4 billion out of revenue. We've made record investments in highway patrol pay and in mental health services for public safety. All those are potentially jeopardized. Higher education took the brunt of a lot of cuts during the 2000 teens, and all of those are in jeopardy. But I want to be clear, because I've spoken about this a few times, and I've gotten some people come back to me and say, why are you proposing new taxes, or why are you proposing these cuts? I want to be clear. The Oklahoma Senate has not requested this special session. We have not had any part in this special session. We're not proposing cuts, and we're not proposing tax increases. All we're doing is saying, Governor, if you really do cut out $4 billion, what cuts do you propose? And or what revenue raising mechanisms do you propose to make up that gap? Is it going to be property tax? Is it going to be sales tax? Is it going to be GPT or some combination thereof? And so the ramifications are large. In fact, we will probably, October 1 is the deadline for state agencies to put in their budget request that we start analyzing. People think we just start analyzing in February through May. We start analyzing those in October 1. We will more than likely, if the governor persists on this type of cut, ask state agencies, his state agencies that he oversees, to resubmit budget requests based on a $4 billion revenue loss. And only then will we be able to show what real ramifications there are.